Hi everyone, I'm Nick Shepherd. Welcome to my channel. This is my fourth video on reported speech. In the first three videos we looked at requests and statements in present and past tense, and this time we're looking at reporting questions like this. Hope you enjoy it. First, a quick review. In reporting a request or a statement, one thing happens. The verb form changes. For requests, the base form changes to the to infinitive. So please sit down becomes he asked us to sit down. Sit down changes to sit down. For statements, we often change the tense. So I'll go becomes he said he would go, and I'm going becomes he said he was going, and I did it last week becomes he said he had done it last week, or even he said he did it last week, and so on. And now for today's subject, reporting questions. When we report a question, two things happen. One, the verb changes, just like the sentences we just looked at. So imagine the question, what time is it? Is going to change to was. But secondly, the word order changes from a question to a statement. So what time is it goes to it was. What time is it becomes he asked what time it was. A reported question is not a question. Sorry, am I shouting? Okay, with that in mind, here's Erica at an interview for a job. The interviewer asked her two sets of questions. Here's the first set. How old are you? Where do you live? Where did you go to school? And later on that day, in the local coffee shop, she told a friend what had happened at the interview. First he asked me how old I was, and then he asked where I lived, and finally he asked where I had gone to school. By the way, you could also say he asked me where I went to school. And here's the second set of questions. Have you finished your degree? Can you work on the weekend? Can you start next week? Back in the coffee shop, here's how she reported the second set of questions. And he asked me if I had finished my degree. And he asked if I could work on the weekends. And finally, he asked me if I could start next week. I've used if in the second set of reports, which is what many people do, but you can also say whether, like this. And he asked me whether I could start next week. Okay, now here are some questions. You have to complete the reports. I'll give you 10 seconds, then I'll put the answers in. If you want more time, stop the video. Okay, now I'm going to put in the answers. He asked me where I was going. Not was I was. And he asked me if I had packed my bags. And he asked me if I was meeting Janice. And he asked me if I had told Dan about the trip, or if you like, if I told Dan. And he asked me what time I would get there. And finally, he asked me how I could afford it. Not could I, but I could. Remember, they're not questions when they're reported. Right, that's the end of reported speech. I've done 4 videos, and if you look at my channel, you'll see an index of videos near the top on the right, where you can see a list of all the videos I've made. And how about subscribing? Okay, that's all. I'm done for today. Hope you found it useful, and thanks for watching.